Yes, you can now put the Lexus LFA V10 into the Toyota Alphard, because of course you can. I know I said in the last video that the Suzuki Jimny might be the highlight of the new 1.42 update, but maybe it's actually these new engine swaps, and this one in particular. You can also put the LFA engine into the GR Supra, but where's the meme potential in that? However, even pre-engine swap, the Alphard was actually a pretty decent car when tuned, and way better than it had any right to be. So, can we get even more actual use out of it with V10 power? Fully tuned, we're looking at just over 700 horsepower and around 1500 kilos, so nothing too crazy, as we can't add any forced induction to the engine. But, especially with that four-wheel drive, are we instead going to create the ultimate sleeper? Well, it's probably not much of a sleeper with that sound, but hey, maybe then a modern reincarnation of the Renault Espace F1. Looking at its performance points in its fully upgraded state and with racing hard tyres, it is pretty hefty at around 680. But obviously, detune it, put it on sports tyres, and maybe you can get into some of the 600 pp events. Or you can do what I did and go for the events where the performance point requirement is more of a mere suggestion, like these Japanese four-wheel drive challenge events that you should be seeing on the screen now. Of course, it absolutely cleaned those up, one with ease, so I thought let's take it a little bit further and pit its brick-like aerodynamics up against the Le Mans 700 pp. My personal favourite of the money grinding methods in the game. It's a half-an-hour race, and for a win with the impossible not to get clean race bonus, it gets you 825,000 credits, which, there or thereabouts, pays for the engine swap. And here's the setup that I'm using for that. Jumping into the race, let's see how we got on, because this was a little bit of a weird one. However, all started fairly normally. As we start to make our way past the AI cars, it's definitely not the fastest thing for this event, but as you'll see, it's definitely doable, and a fun challenge if you want to make this a little bit more interesting and break up the monotony of grinding. The LFA engine in the LFA can do a one-stop race, but it is going to be a two-stop in the Alphard. The first thing I did was put the fuel map up to 6 to make it as fuel efficient as possible. So you really are going to need to use slipstream to your advantage as much as you can, and if you need to save fuel, engage a bit of short shift. Handling wise, it's still way better than it should be and can easily keep pace around the corners with good forward pricing. So just try and keep the momentum up and try not to be too bad for your tyre wear. Naturally this thing is going to be quite heavy on its tyres, its front ones especially, but this time the weather took care of that concern. As near the end of lap 2, the rain came in hard and heavy. I decided to pit for intermediate tyres and just stay out for as long as I could, which proved to be the right call. Most of the AI did not do that, and that netted me a lot of time and a big lead early on in the race. Of course, being four-wheel drive as well, the Alphard was absolutely fine in those wet conditions, provided you are on appropriate tyres. So I just carried on my merry way, making another stop later in the race. You probably could eke out a tank of fuel to 3 laps, but I didn't on this occasion. However, at the end of lap 6, with about 2 minutes left on the clock, and less than a lap's worth of fuel left, I didn't pit. I just went just before the start line and stopped and waited for the timer to count down, because thanks to the AI messing up on strategy mainly, I had enough of a buffer where I could just wait instead of doing another lap and shave a couple minutes off the total race time. I even lapped some of the backmarker AI cars. And then, once the time crossed the line, I can just drive over and finish. And just like that, 825,000 credits, and a pretty fun race. Can't really argue with that. So, I do encourage you to give this engine swap a go, and let me know what you think. So, thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.